I want to talk to you about something. The old elf responds with dignity and courtesy, but firmly. In thanks for my rescue, I, of course, will render you a service in turn, whatever it may be. However, at this moment, I wish to be somewhere safer than the present surroundings. My recent adventures have fatigued me greatly. I would be grateful if you could help me to a safe shelter of some kind. The stubborn set of the elf's mouth tells you he won't change his mind. Typical! You do someone a good turn, instead of saying thank you, they just ask for more help. Go easy on the old elf. He's had a rough go of it. Yeah, because we've had it so easy. I'm taking you to the Defender's Heart. Please accept my sincere thanks once again, and, if I may, please don't rush. I will struggle to keep up with your young legs. I mean, not really. I kind of want to explore the rest of this library. Oh, come on, I want all of you, not just Mr. Rogue Boy.
Can't hide
Oh.
from me.
Oh, a secret door. A secret door. A secret door.
Let's move.
Knowledge World DC 25. Quick save.
It went splendidly.
Oh, hell yeah. This is a statue of the mage who founded the Blackwing Library. He cut the wing of a demon known as a Vrock and hung it above the entrance. Why? Why? Why is there a pickaxe in this hidden room? Just some random leather armor. Is there anything good in here? Oh, a quarterstaff. What do you do, friend? Of coercion. Oh. Oh, it's a monk weapon. Probably can't use it on any of my spellcasters, can I? Oh, I can. Oh. Will saving throws against... I mean, put that on my, my mage, and then just make sure she uses a spell as an attack. Yeah, hell yeah, that's really cool. Just add a DC. I'll freaking take that. Are you kidding me? Don't need a dagger.
What's that there?
How to make money during the war against demons. Did I not loot them? I didn't loot them. That probably would be helpful if I looted the people I killed. Jesus. Warhammer. Eh. I mean, that's not better than what I have. Okay. That ability, though. I mean, it only triggers on crit, but holy hell, that's really cool. I do lose off a potential 4 damage by switching out from the 1d6 fire, though. I'm going to try out the collapse for a bit, see if it procs often enough, because that's a really cool ability just to knock people prone. Really cool ability.
March on.
A success worthy of praise.
Some monstrously large demonic blade fell upon the library, splitting the ruins in two and leaving an enormous black scar. It is possible that Discari himself was the one to destroy this building with his terrifying scythe, Rift Carver. That's the library, I guess. I was hoping it would be a little bit more than that. Like that whole area over there. Yeah, nothing. Can't get through this door, so... Oh well. Let's go talk to the storyteller. Go back to the Defender's Heart. Got a nice whiskey coke going tonight. My dog's very upset in the background. I'll have you know. The blind elf looks better than he did at your last encounter. His clothes are clean and his face has some color. The elf turns to you and listens closely. Is that you, my savior? I recognize your footsteps. Determined footsteps befitting a determined person. Allow me to thank you again for saving me. Please, accept this humble gift as a token of my appreciation. The elf hands you a small black ring with 2 scarlet runes on it. A ring? Erebeth has explained why you were looking for me. I warned the authorities of Canabras that the local wardstone had been desecrated. They waved off my warning and paid for their inaction. I have examined many wardstones, but only the one guarding Canabras did I sense a flaw, a spot of corruption inside, a vulnerability the demons will surely use. They are able to spread the blight inside the wardstone, corrupt it, and make it their weapon. It frightens me to think what it will be capable of. The wardstone must be destroyed. Who are you, and why did they let you examine the wardstone? The elf smiles faintly. I am the storyteller, just an old elf. And a bit more. I am old even for an elf. I have seen many things that have been in many places. Not so long ago, I witnessed the making of a young kingdom in the Stolen Lands, led by a remarkably promising individual. My advice on the complicated matter of conquering those lands proved useful to that leader. It's the first game. This is not uncommon for me. Some seek my advice or services, and I don't refuse. This is how I acquired my reputation as an old vagrant who's never hurt anyone, stayed out of other squabbles, but sometimes gave good advice. I have a few friends in Narasyan who vouch for my integrity. This is why my humble request to be allowed to see the wardstones was granted. I visited all of them, but only found cause for alarm in Canabras. Do you wield some magical power, some instinct? The storyteller chuckles. Yes, to a certain extent, but it is more of a gift. I can see past, stories that have happened. I touch an object and shed of its owner's memories, and shreds of its owner's memories are revealed to my mind. Their emotions, passions, and tragedies. I see visions like I am them, and their stories happen to me. This is my power. I've been roaming the world gathering such stories for many thousands of years. One day, I will gather them all. What blight is concealed in the wardstone? I'm afraid I don't have the answer to your question. To understand the nature of this blight, you need to understand how the wardstone was created, and it is hidden from me. I can only guess. Have you heard of the Red Morning Massacre? A dreadful morning remembered with fear even by those not yet born at the time. The demoness called Minago invaded the city with a crowd of her followers and started to do what demons do best: kill and desecrate. They say they covered the wardstone with pieces of dead bodies, splashed it with blood from top to bottom. Could such an abomination darken the radiance of the gift of Iomade herself? The locals think this is impossible, but who knows? It was not the last attack. Many demon leaders brought their unholy forces here, even the terrifying Baelor. What? Koramazadesh. Their attacks were rebuffed, but they still reached their target. I think this is when the seed of corruption was planted in the stone. It wouldn't have grown on its own, but Tiscare himself has now come to take advantage of this weakness, to open the abscess that has been festering for years, unnoticed by the people of Canabras. And when the demon lord struck the blow and the weakened stone gave in. Now it's in the demon's hands, and nothing is stopping them from spreading the blight throughout the entire stone, and from it to the other stones along the whole perimeter of the world wound. Why did you travel to the wardstones? I tried to see their stories. The visions I had when I touched the wardstones were unclear. I saw hundreds, maybe thousands of different stories at the same time. They followed each other like flashes of lightning. It was impossible to separate them. I couldn't understand where one of them ended and the next began. I have heard you, storyteller. In that case, you must make every possible effort to destroy the corruption. Unfortunately, I don't know where to get an instrument powerful enough to banish it from the Wardstone. As far as I know, there is nothing like it in Canabras, but the demons might have something. I heard the dying roar of Terendelev, the Silver Dragon, the protector of the city. At the same time, I felt a wave of unfamiliar power sweep over me from head to toe. I would advise you to go to where Terendelev perished, and search for, therefore, something. I'm sorry I can't be more specific, but intuition and a strange sense of rightness tell me to point you there. I'm going to hold off on the knife for a second. I want to go through the other dialogues. Yeah, it was black, so I clicked on it. Can I help you? The storyteller nods gratefully. I appreciate your offer. I have reason to believe that somewhere in Canabras there is a manuscript authored by an elf from Kyonin who witnessed Earthfall. The storyteller's voice suddenly breaks and he stops for a moment. For personal reasons, I would like to examine it. But no matter how hard I try, I have failed to find it. Even in the Blackwing Library, I only found a mention that the manuscript exists and is held somewhere in the city. I assume it is stored in the Grey Garrison. They wouldn't let me into the archive when I visited. All those crusaders were nervous about the strange blind elf interested in their secrets. It's understandable. The crusade naturally made them a little paranoid, but now the Grey Garrison has fallen into enemy hands. I would be grateful if I could see the manuscript. I found a page that might interest you. The storyteller carefully takes the page from your hands. His fingers touch the ancient letters gently, examining them lightly, following their lines. I see myself. Young, energetic, able to see. Oh, gods, have I found the key to my past? Finally, I will find out what my own mind has been hiding from me. The elf's expression becomes withdrawn. The wrinkles on his face soften. Thank you, Tuliel, and please, follow me to my story. Let us embark on this journey together. The storyteller inhales sharply a few times and begins his story. They are leaving. The people of Kyonin faced the coming Earthfall and admitted that they were incapable of handling this disaster. Proud rulers, artful crafters, brave warriors, wise mages, and skilled healers, all of them hurried to the gate to Sovyirin, looking around fearfully. A clean, safe world is waiting for them there. My people decide not to fight for Golorian. I am ashamed, and I am sorry for them. Their hearts wavered in the face of this catastrophe, but my will is strong. I am staying. My kinfolk are looking at me angrily. How dare I diminish their decision with my recklessness? My choice makes them cowards, traitors to their own home. One of them, my former mentor, looks at me bitterly. He hands me a neat notebook with a tree bark cover. In case you change your mind. With a heavy sigh, he returns to the line of those departing. Forgive me, brothers and sisters. I watched the gate of this, once again, Sovyirin stone close, separating me from them. It is time for me to go too. I open my master's notebook. These are his notes about traveling between worlds. In case you change your mind, he hopes the burden I shouldered voluntarily will be too much. I will lose heart and find my way to Sovyirin. That will never happen. My mouth sets stubbornly. I tear my master's notebook to pieces. I use my force pride as a shield against my fear of what is to come. All right. Getting into some deep lore here. Why did the elves decide to flee, not to fight? The storyteller's lips purse with disdain. They are afraid to lose what they have. They were rulers, long-lived and powerful. They valued their lives in sunshine too much to enter the fight with the aftermath of the Earthfall. Your mentor is a mage? Then you must be one too, yes? Yes, I am an archmage, but this title is well-deserved. I have acquired delicate mastery and succeeded in many areas of magic, but curiosity has always pushed me toward new knowledge since the first day of my apprenticeship. What is a Silverian stone? A magnificent crystal, bent into an arch by mighty hands of an ancient divine creator. Our great gate to other worlds. It breathes power. It dreams of eternity. Why are you angry at your fellow elves? I spent many hundreds of years in Kyonin. I have always admired the way my kinfolk cared for the forest that was our home, but the rest of the world seemed to mean nothing to them. But I love Golarion, all its places, all the forms it manifests in. I have traveled widely and then came home and told my kinfolk about my travels, but they weren't interested. They only cared about Kyonin. The lack of desire to hear about the wider world makes me sad and angry. Well, what happens next? Earthfall happened at night. I am standing at the top of my tower, many miles to the north of Kyonin, and I see a blaze in the far north. I hear a horrendous rumble. The air is groaning, giving way to a huge rock, rushing down upon my world. And then, a blow, vibration that penetrates everything, reaching down into the bowels of Golarion and up to the vaults of the sky. Crunching bones, blood-burst vessels filling my eyes with darkness, drowning in timelessness along with countless denizens of Golarion. Never before have we been so united in our feelings. When I come round, the darkness remains. My first terrible thought. I'm blind, but no. Little by little, I begin to see the stone wall. I am alive, but why is it so dark? The answer is quick. The smell of ash everywhere. The great burnt sacrifice filled the air with incinerated particles of what recently the continent of Aslant. Great clouds of ash covered the sky, cutting us off from the sun and the moon, dooming us to dusk at day and complete darkness at night. My heart sinks with fear. Treacherous thoughts fill my mind. What did I say? Why did I stay? Why didn't I run like everyone else when I had the chance? I clench my teeth and stand up to watch Earthfall, proudly, like the last Archmage of Kyonin should. Will my world really perish like this? Will I perish? No. That will never happen. I'm still alive, and I can fight Earthfall and the darkness, not run from it in blind panic like my kinfolk and my cowardly teacher. But what can I do? I will not stop the disaster. I will hardly be able to save empires from their destruction. What can I do? I am but one Archmage, powerful and weak at the same time. And now the question I'm burning to ask, what the hell is Earthfall? A disaster of untold proportions, an unborn planet dropped on Golarion by blind fate or someone's evil will, a blow so strong that the continent of Aslant is destroyed within moments, turned to ashes, wiped off the face of Golarion. In this burnt sacrifice, clouds of ash and dust are born, stealing our sun. Without the warmth of our star, the air cools, the soil is barren, dark creatures crawl out of their lairs to rule, and the most frightening thing, without the sun, all hope dies in the heart. This is the age of darkness. And here I thought we were playing Pathfinder, not Dark Souls. What was the tower you mentioned? In my retreat to the north of Kyonin, my home away from home, my observatory, from its top I watched the stars and, when they were correctly aligned, the other worlds as well. Here in the northern wastelands, I found the highest mountain and built a tower on top of it. On clear days, I could see the mist over the lake of mists and veils in the east. That's how high I was, man. I could just see way over those hills, dude. Part of me really wants to just adopt that voice for him going forward, but I'm going to keep the voice I had. What are you going to do next? I don't know. I need to think. My opponent, Earthfall, is much stronger than me. Without noticing, the storyteller raises his voice to a shout. It is merciless. It does not simply destroy life, it kills an era, ending the greatness of Galorian civilizations. They will sink into oblivion, be forgotten as if they never existed. I need to think. The elf suddenly winces and is silent for a few moments as he calms in his heavy breathing. Forgive me, I shouldn't have raised my voice. This story was much harder than the many before it. Most likely because I played the main role in it. It is so strange to see myself, feel the emotions tearing me up inside, those that I felt a long time ago, and not remember them. It's like I split. I became both the storyteller and the main character. Too bad the story ended at that moment. Please, if you find other pages covered with ancient elven writing on your travels, bring them to me. I might be able to shed some light on my past, and we'll find out how my story ended, and perhaps even why I forgot. That was really cool. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, alright. It was black for some reason, but thank you for your stories. Whew, alright. I want to discuss your past with you. Oh, no. Okay. Once again, just a black option. I want to know more about you. The old elf permits himself a faint smile. I'm not surprised. A strange, peculiar-looking elf with unusual powers who comes from afar and calls himself a collector of stories. Such things usually spark some interest. I will answer your questions. Who are you, and where are you from? Before, I would have said that I was a blacksmith from Kyonin, who lost his sight and then found his true calling in a new craft, that of a story collector. But I have lately begun to suspect those words are no more than a lie. The old elf chuckles sadly. It's quite the irony. I never thought I'd have cause to complain about my memory. It holds the stories of the entire world, but I've noticed more and more alarming signs recently. I encounter ancient stories and see myself in them. I don't remember those events, but stories cannot lie. Damn, man, the stories can't lie. The fiction archives are going to be crazy. Love to see frickin' Aragon come to life. So it means that my memory is lying, and I intend to get to the bottom of it. I'm looking for proof that my visions are true, and for the reason why my past has been hidden from me. You look ancient. You're so old, dude. Ugh. I thought elves didn't get old. The blind man straightens his bony back with dignity. As you can see, we do if we manage to live for many thousands of years. There may not be a single mortal in this world older than me. The storyteller sighs and continues with a sad smile. Anyway, it's not about time. It's about the stories I keep inside. There is so much suffering and sadness in this world, and in my stories too. I have lived every one of them. I've drunk this bitter existence and accepted it into my heart. It's hard, the weight of all this suffering on my shoulders, but I wouldn't trade my burden for any other. Where'd you get your strange powers? The storyteller shrugs. I've always got along well with things. I used to be a blacksmith. That I know for sure. I've always felt the essence of things, their spirit. For as long as I can remember, I've always been able to feel the traces of memories and feelings left on things by their former owners. I don't know where this gift comes from. Maybe, having taken my sight, the gods granted me another sense. Why did you come to the Warwound? Searching for the truth about my real past has brought me here. I saw myself in others' stories. In them, I was called the elf in the tower. Now I'm looking for this tower. My tower, everywhere. I've been to many places. I've visited islands and deserts, but I haven't found it. There are very few uncharted territories on my map. The World Wound is one of them. How do you collect stories? The same way a court philanthropist collects his conquests. The way a healer has a personal cemetery of patients he failed to save. The way every person, including you, has a box of secret, most precious experiences deep down in their soul that no one is allowed to touch. The world is not made of things or matter. It is made of stories. They move from the past to the future, piercing our world at the point of here and now. They give meaning to everything. They are the meaning, and everything else is only the setting required for stories to exist. There is nothing more real and alive than a story, and anything real and alive can die or be destroyed, distorted, forgotten. But as long as I carry these stories within me, they will not be lost. This is why I don't often share my stories. By sharing one with you, I give you the right to tell it to others, to distort and embellish, inadvertently or inadvertently. How can I be sure you will keep its original purity? Stories travel from one person to another. They change, become distorted, turn into tall tales. That is why I keep my stories to myself. I have no more questions. I love this character. I frickin' love this character. He makes the inner English major in me very happy. I have a few questions about our encounter in the Blackwing Library. Of course. I make no secret why I came to the library. I was looking for something. What were you doing there? I was looking for a very old thing. Rumor has it some ancient scroll or a book page about the times of Earthfall is held in Canabris. According to legend, it describes the last days of the proud kingdom of Kyonin, later abandoned by the elves fleeing Golorian. I have a vague hope that the elves described in this will shed some light on my past. Guess I should have gone to the library first. I've already done all this dude's stuff in advance. Did you find what you were looking for? No, he didn't. The storyteller shakes his head gloomily. Alas, no. But I found proof that the book I'm looking for is in Canabris, or at least a part of it. I see. Present the purple stone knife. I found it in the square where Tarentalev perished. What do you make of it? The storyteller reaches out and says softly, Even from here I can feel strange energies emanating from this object. If you don't mind, I will examine it using my method. I will try to see the past of its owner, their emotions, and shreds of these memories. Maybe it will help us better understand what we are dealing with. The storyteller touches the knife, his fingers clamping around the hilt with a hungry, masterful grip. His face contorts into an evil grimace, his voice disgustingly raspy. Hunger! Many legs bring me into the lair to my mother's feasting hall. Her swollen belly overfilled with food is so huge that I have to look at it with all my eyes at once. On top is her scrawny little head with a long beak and is always yearning for more food. You feel feverish, and your chest, where the mysterious wound is concealed, feels hot. Your mind is flooded with the wave of visions that repeat the words of the old elf. Mother greets me with a placid screech. Stupid, greedy wretch. Those only achievement is my birth. A creeping, wingless creature. It's your fault I have no wings. A symbol of greatness. A birthright I should have received from my mighty father. Mother points me to a crowd of whimpering subjects, suggesting I fortify myself with their pathetic flesh. Not today. I summon my spawn and they fly to me, enveloping me in a teeming cloud. Like dark, buzzing wings, they unfold behind my back and lift me up. Mother has always been stronger, but she did not expect this. I dive on her and rip her limp, bloated body with my claws. Ichor splatters, the bone spurs on my heels sink into her flesh.
I clench her pitiful tiny head and tear it off along with the shreds of meat. Victory! I am the strongest. I am the son of my winged father.
The elf grimaces with distaste. His voice becomes normal again. Appalling. Stories like that are the most difficult ones to keep with me. Whew. Damn.